Hi everyone, this is Lisa Haven, and I've got an important report to share with you today, specifically in regards to the vulnerabilities of America and an EMP attack. According to a report that I found on WNDnews.com as well as TrueNews.com. Now, I'm not going to take you there, but I'm going to kind of read my notes in regards to these, and I'll leave a link below. But according to both of those reports, not one, but two satellites are orbiting our skies here in America that belong to North Korea and have the capability to set off an EMP attack. Crazy stuff. Now, let me just read from the report here. It says, Peter Vincent Pry, who's the executive director of the Task Force on National and Homeland Security and director of the U.S. Nuclear Strategic Forum, he actually told G2 Bulletin, and that's Joseph Farah's G2 Bulletin, that the satellite can be commanded either to deorbit or hit a target on the ground or explode at a high altitude to create an EMP effect that would knock out the unprotected U.S. national electrical grid system and all our life-sustaining critical infrastructure. That would include our communications, that would include our transportation, that would include our travel, our finance, our water, our food, our sanitation, our oil and gas pipelines. All these things could be affected by an EMP attack. And this is why we need to put up our alarm bells. I know that Kim Jong-un of North Korea has been, sending off, I'm going to nuke this, and we're going to nuke Washington, and we're going to nuke New York City, of the two latest targets that he's, set out there, or North Korea even before him. They've threatened a lot. However, it's kind of like the boy who cries wolf. He cries wolf over and over and over and over again, and finally there's actually a wolf there. Well, we can't discount the fact that North Korea might have something up their sleeves, and eventually the wolf will be there, so to speak. So we need to take it serious, at least my personal opinion. Now, the satellites that are up in the sky are KMS 3-2 and KMS 4. Both are orbiting at an altitude of 300 miles with trajectories that put them daily over the U.S. KMS 3-2 was launched in 2012, and the other was launched in February. Interesting. Now, Peter Pry further goes on to detail that the government is aware of the satellite but unable to determine its payload. So in other words, the government knows the satellite's up there, but they're not doing anything about these satellites. Excuse me, not one, but two. And they are instead focusing on North Korea's ability to launch a missile. After all, he's already threatened to use force against Washington and New York City. So there you have it. And again, I'm going to leave the links below. But an EMP threat is evidently possible, especially when there's already, two satellites orbiting above America. Why is our government not taking them down? Why aren't they doing something about it is my question. If that is the case, why only focus on one threat while turning a blind eye, so to speak, on the other, though they're well aware? Now, that was, again, from a bulletin, a G2 bulletin with Joseph Farah. It's also on WND News and True News, and I'm going to leave all those links below. But it's interesting to say, hey, we know that Janet Napolitano, at least back in 2012, had this to say. Let me play her message.
You've said that a cyber 9/11 is not an if, but a when. What would a cyber 9/11 look like, and how soon could it happen?
It could happen imminently. What would it look like? It could take many forms, but let me just give one that may come to mind, which is what happens when the electric grid goes down. We saw that during Sandy, and you see how that impacts everything from the ability to heat homes, to the ability to pump gasoline, to the ability to have lighting at night, everything. So when we look at the nation's critical infrastructure, and where it is vulnerable, one of the vulnerabilities is through the cyber and the networked cyber world that we live in.
All right, so there you have it. She admits it's not a matter of if it will happen, but when it will happen. It is imminent. And then she's talking about specifically an EMP attack. And that was in 2013 at the Wilson Center, an interview she had done at the Wilson Center. But it's interesting nonetheless that, and she's not the only one, multiple people from CIA to, other governmental agencies have warned and made hints that an EMP is possible, be it from China, be it from North Korea, be it from domestically, who knows. But nonetheless, this is in our deck of cards, so to speak, along with, the threats and worries of war, along with, the threats and worries of the economy. And look, if we go back to the dark ages, okay, then our economy obviously is going to just be finished, along with many, many other things. I just thought that was a very important report that I wanted to get out to all of you. Anytime there is some threat, especially when there's 2 satellites orbiting over our country here that have the capability of setting off an EMP and nothing are done about it, I think that's a red alert. And I think that we need to know about them. Nonetheless, if you're not prepared with food, now is the time. I highly urge you to do so. Get Mylar bags, pack some food in there, rice, beans, spaghetti, pasta, put some oxygen suckers and seal that bad boy. If you want to do it more quicker, go to foodforliberty.com/haven and get food storage. And people ask, okay, well, why do you, encourage people to prep? Well, number one, the prepping that I use on this particular Food for Liberty, I like their product. I like the way it tastes, and they're fairly reasonable compared to all the other ones out there. And number two, the more people that prep, the better. The better it is for all of us, because the more people that have food, the better it's going to be. They're not going to be trying to, although a lot of that is going to be taking place. It also helps fund the broadcast here. I'm a prepper. I prep. I get prepared. I preach what I do. If I don't do it, I don't tell about it. If I don't do something, I don't promote it, in other words. But here's the thing. We all need to get prepared. If you want to take a shortcut, get foodforliberty.com/haven. They have meals already set up in the Mylar packs, ready to go. Lots of great stuff there. Also, getthetea.com, another partner of mine. Great health stuff. I personally use Super Strength Tea among many other of the products there at Life Change Tea. But you should cleanse your gut all the time on a daily basis so that you're not accumulating some of the stuff from the chemtrails and the GMOs and keeping your gut clean. Anyhow, wanted to bring you the latest on everything that is going down. Thanks again for tuning in. This is Lisa Haven signing off.